Hey everyone, welcome back to JUCO Jam. This is season 2, episode 7. Brandon, midway through January, we are in the
Woo!
final stretch. How excited are you to talk JUCO hoops today?
Man, I'm super excited to talk JUCO hopes because, like we talked about last show, we get into the teeth of conference play, and then all heck breaks loose, and people decide, how bad they really want it. So here we
And it
go.
was chaos. We're going to get into as we get into the rewind, 5 of the top 9 teams, I think, in the country lost. So we're in it. All right, let's start with Monday. It's Whackjack Monday. Odessa 67 at New Mexico 58. Willie Lightfoot, the left-handed sweet shooter with 18. Jordan Ray cleaning the glass with 10 rebounds. New Mexico struggled from deep, 3 of 16 on 3, only 19%. Talk Whackjack Monday for me, BG.
Yeah, New Mexico struggling to shoot the ball here recently, and they Odessa did a fantastic job of really focusing in on Antoine Massey. Was kind of uh, it's starting to look a little bit like they're going to go as Massey goes this season. Bear Cherry's fantastic, headed to UNLV next year. But there's really only so much he can do in the post, especially in junior college and just kind of the way that the style of basketball is. So, Massey out there is that kind of wingy, forwardy type guy, bucket, kind of solved that equation and it showed.
And then Wednesday, we had a couple of great games down in Florida, and I'm going to have to help you. You're going to have to help me with a name. Indian River 67 at Eastern Florida 72. 4 Titans in double figures. My man Luca with 10 and 8. Help me with the last name there, BG.
Luka Kolsic.
Stretch 4, stretch 3.5. And then
Yep.
Andrija Vukomarovic with 13 and 6. And 4 Pioneers were in double figures. Only 19 from 58 from the field, 33%. Eastern Florida has to be our team of the week in junior college basketball, if there was such a thing. And then also in Florida, Northwest Florida 62 at Tallahassee 53. Great road win for the Raiders. Tawan Simpkins with 24 off the bench. Jaden Scheider with 19 and 12. So recap Wednesday Florida action.
Yeah, Eastern Florida kind of solved that press, solved that transition game. Owen Aquino, who is one of the best players in the country, didn't have a huge night when he tends to have lots of huge nights. So Luca stepping up, Andrea stepping up, and Jeremy Schulman just does a fantastic job of coaching those kids. There's that structure really starts to come together this time of the year for him. Tons of new faces on that team, and there are some players that didn't even play a lot earlier on in the season that are starting to play a lot more now as they kind of start to come together and understand it. And then at Northwest Florida, Tavion Banks, one of the highest recruited players in the country, just has an off night, so everybody else steps up. Tawan Simpkins was fantastic coming off the bench there. I mean, if you can have Tawan Simpkins as your sixth man, you're probably pretty good. So just another moment where maybe the star doesn't have a star night and somebody else says, "Hey, I got you."
And then they have Coach Steve DeMeo, right? It's good to, when you have a star player that's having an off night, it's good to have a star on the sidelines as well.
It helps.
And that really matters. Also, Wednesday night we had a fantastic game down in Texas, Region 14. They play good basketball there too. Trinity Valley at Lee. Lee comes away with a big win, 70-68, if memory serves correct. I forgot to write down the final score. Mackay Dorsey led Trinity Valley with 15, and Trinity Valley out rebounded. Trinity Valley actually out rebounded Lee 43-29 and Davion Laverne with 22. I know you watched this one. I mean, Trinity Valley, Lee, Panola, it just seems like they're just going to just bludgeon each other down the stretch. I'm not sure who's going to come out the winner of those 3.
Yeah, I mean, 3 teams that are deserving of Hutch bids for sure. Probably the game of the week, Trinity Valley and Lee there was just kind of that like great rock fight, traditional JUCO game. Lee was missing a couple guys, to some injuries, and so the fact that they were able to step up and grab that one was big for them. That's definitely going to be a circle signature win. They end up dropping one later in the week to Angelina, and I think there was a little bit of panic in the eyes of the coaches that, oh my gosh, we lost this game that maybe we shouldn't have lost. But in reality, they've been so good this year. Things happen, especially in conference play, where you just lose one that maybe you shouldn't have. But getting that win against Trinity Valley was something that I think voters and everybody can really circle and say, look, man, stuff happens, but this really meant something.
Big time win. Jayhawk action Wednesday night as well. Hutch really was kind of thriving coming into this game with Barton. But Barton just put their foot on the throat of Hutch early and just never relinquished. Five Cougars in double figures. Keandre Kendall with 22, Miles Thompson with a double-double, 19 and 10. And then I think with Hutch, they kind of go with how they shoot. And Hutch hit only 5 out of 27 from three, 18.5%. When Hutch hits some threes, because they have really good forwards, when they hit threes, everything else kind of flows for them. And when they don't, they're going to have some tough nights.
Yeah, this was interesting because Barton said, "Sure, let's play a high-paced game. Let's go. Let's play into the hundreds." And Hutch just couldn't hit the shots. Hutch has been playing as well as anybody in the country, and one of the teams that has been playing a little better than them has been Barton. And Barton's been incredible. And it's such an interesting story because, Mose Downing Rivers coming into the season was one of the highest regarded players out there. And unfortunately, he got hurt early on, hasn't really kind of come all the way back from that yet. And so when you have somebody who's a high major player that just isn't able to contribute in the way that you were expecting, all of these other guys that were able to, have been able to step up and fill his shoes and say, "Hey, man, we got you. Like we're gonna have a hell of a season." And I think Mose is still in a position where, hopefully maybe here in another few weeks he kind of finds himself again a little bit. And I mean, imagine adding a healthy
All
back to
American.
normal Mose
Yeah.
to this roster.
Right. Right. And Barton certainly, they gave up 80 points sure to Hutch, but this is one of the better defensive teams in the country. I mean, they're one of the best teams overall, but just a really, really sound defensive team. Thursday night, we go back to the good folks in Western Texas. New Mexico 81 at Howard 86 and overtime for Howard. Joey Medemba with 32 on 14 for 16 from the free throw line. Howard as a team, I love these stats. Howard hit 37 out of 44 from the free throw line. That's 84% as a team. And then once again, I get fixated on the 3-point shot. New Mexico hit 4 out of 26 from three, only 15%. It's amazing that they were in the game and took it to overtime against a really good Howard team, hitting only 4 out of 26 from three.
Yeah, both of these teams have had moments throughout the season. New Mexico's kind of having their moment right now where there's a little bit of a tipping point coming up, for them as far as which direction the season's going to go. And for Howard's sake, if you're really committing to getting to the line like that and playing tough like that, like you're going to have a chance night in night out. But Joey Medemba's been one of the best players in the country this year. He's on track to be an All-American. If you know Joey, you're not surprised that he's playing so well, but maybe kind of one of the bigger surprises of the season, because I think a lot of people just didn't really know how good he was, and now he's showing out night in night out in the WAC that he's one of the best players in that entire conference.
And then Saturday we had a slate of great games. I'm going to start down in Daytona. Eastern Florida goes on the road, gets a huge road win, 94-88. This was really a tale of two halves. Eastern Florida was up at half, 48-25. Owen Aquino, 1 rebound shy of a triple double. He had 19 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. He had 9 assists in the first half, kind of looking like Nikola Jokic out there. And then Andrija Vukomarovic with 22 and 8, a freshman who's only played basketball for 2 years, coming on. And then Josue, help me out.
Gruyan.
Brian, 39 on 14 out of 28 field goals. I believe he had 34 points in the second half, who just was one of the most amazing halves of basketball that you'll see from a player.
Yeah, I mean Owen has had I think one triple double so far. Comes up 1 rebound short of another. Was it a rebound or an assist?
Rebound. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 rebound short of another triple double. against Daytona. Just happens to be one of the best teams in the country. Um, I mean, we talked earlier about Owen having a average night, I guess, or for him, less than average night. And the other guy stepping up. And in this one, the bright lights are on. This is their biggest game to date this season. And Owen steps up and shows that not only is he an All-American, but he's one of the best players in the country. And then, yeah, Josue Grullon is incredible. And, this loss is absolutely no knock on Daytona. Eastern Florida is really showing that they're a top 15 team in the country at this point. And so for Josue to go out and almost drop a 40 ball, just really, really speaks to the work that he's put in. And Coach Canton's being able to really kind of manage, all that talent. They've got a fantastic point guard. But allowing Josue to be that star and everybody kind of gathering around that and supporting him, Daytona's going to win a lot more games this year.
And then I'm gonna package two games here in a row for you. Sauk Valley 89 at Triton 92. Big win for Triton, coming off a loss to Kankakee. But their big four really showed up. Dior Connors with 20, Dylan Williams with 24, Amar Aguilar with 22, AJ Dixon with 16, former Eastern Florida Titan. And then Vincennes loses on the road, kind of as we predicted last week. No JUCO Jam jinx there. We kind of saw this coming. Vincennes 72 at Olney Central 73. Olney Central outscored the Blazers 10-2 in the final 3 minutes of the game. Demarion Walkup led four Olney Central players in double figures with 16. For Vincennes, LeBron Thomas, 17, Victor Lato, Kyrie Dixon with 14 each. VU once again struggled from three as a kind of a theme of the teams that have lost. 3 out of 14 from three, 21%. Talk a little Midwest hoops there, BJ.
Yeah, tough to win games when the threes aren't falling. But for Triton, the Holy Trinity of guards showed up, did their thing.
Like the law firm of Connors, Williams, Aguilar, and Dixon. The
They
firm.
that teams that have to face Triton the rest of the way, and we'll see into postseason play. Um, that's a tough equation to solve because it just comes at you from all angles.
6 and 0 against ranked teams or teams receiving votes, those Triton Trojans.
Yep, yep. There's only so much Triton can do about being in the region that they're in. That's not their fault. They play a good non-conference schedule, and so I'm hoping to see them in Hutch because they're a team that's absolutely deserving of it. And seeing those players, those especially the guards that they have showcased on a national stage like that, would be a lot of fun. And then, for Vincennes, this is hey man, like I know Todd's not going to look at it like this, but it's stuff happens. Only's really good. They just happen to just get you that night. Nothing that Vincennes needs to be worried about. They're very, very good. Those threes are going to fall. And if one more of them had fallen, they would have won. So, they can go into the rest of their schedule here, just circling that one as a stuff happens. But if I know Coach Franklin, he's going to use that game as
A
hey,
rallying cry.
yeah, a rallying cry, if you will. We won't get into the details of what the cry says, but it was a rallying cry. And if I know the way that the players respond to Coach Franklin, I would not want to be the next team on their schedule. I'll tell you that.
I think it's going to be an intense week of practice with some opportunities for self-reflection. Um, we have two terrific games to talk about on Saturday night. We'll start with the greatest rivalry in basketball. Indian Hills goes on the road to Burlington, comes away with a huge 70-56 win. Indian Hills out rebounded the Blackhawks 49-26, 19-6 on the offensive rebounds. Trevion LeBeau 17 and 14, Chris Impaka with 10 and 14. And then Indian Hills 5 out of 9 from three in the second half. When Indian Hills hits their threes with this rebounding dominant lineup with LeBeau and Paka in the game, going to be tough to beat. And then Hutch redeemed themselves. Nightcap, Hutch beats Garden City 85-64 in the sports arena. Another nice game from Braxton Jones with 23 points. Here's the key. Hutch hit 9 out of 21 from three, 43%, 4 Blue Dragons in double figures. Cameron Thomas with 22 and 7, and Kernan Bundy with 15.
Yeah, Indian Hills Southeastern, that's as good as it gets, right? Yeah, that place is just rocking for this, and those fans are just like right on top of you. But Indian Hills, they go eight players deep as far as Division I talent. They bring two mid to high major players off the bench, which is a nice thing to have. And so, that Sauk Valley, Sauk is very good. And they're battle tested, and they've proven night in, night out that they can beat anybody. So, that loss for Indian Hills, um, was not a bad loss, but it was a loss that I think was a wake-up call for them as far as the important things that they have to do to really be good this year. And I imagine that focused a lot around the rebounding. And we saw them just really, really amp it up, as far as that goes. And then, yeah, Garden City, Hutch, to their credit, just really, really locked in defensively. Those guards that Garden City has are as good as anyone in the country. They've got length, they've got the ability to score from a lot of different places, and Hutch just really, really, really kind of locked in on the defensive side of the ball. They hit their threes. They knew that was a little bit of an aberration for them to miss so many of them last game, so they just stayed the course and came away with a big one.
And then on Sunday, you would expect everyone would be at home cheering on the Chiefs, but not so fast. We had Butler Cali, Cali and Coach Donnie Jackson picks up a really important win to kind of stay in the mix in the Jayhawk. Good win for the Tigers.
Yeah, 77-58 for Cowley. This was the Jamichael Stillwell versus Jeff Nwankwo game, and both showed up. There was a lot of Division I coaches in the building. I got calls from several of them, talking specifically about those two. And it was two heavyweights going against each other. They both had really, really good games. Cowley pulling away with the win there, but Jamichael did everything within his power to help his team. And so, just a great environment for those guys to really showcase. For those coaches, I think those are going to be two of the more sought after players here this spring. And so it was a lot of fun to just kind of watch, two guys that have put in a lot of work. They both look like they should be in the NFL. Um,
Sure.
and maybe one of them will one of the
Right.
who knows?
The next
Um,
Antonio Gates.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, it was just a great game, great environment, and a big, big win for Coach Jackson.
We're going to transition now to the rundown. Monday night, we have Whack-Jack action, Howard at South Plains, Midland at New Mexico. Quick thoughts on Monday night in West Texas.
Really excited for Madimba versus Malik Ewan. Not the same position, but kind of the two heavyweights from those teams. Howard is playing very well right now. South Plains has just continued week to week to week to show that they are the number one team in the country, but this is absolutely going to be a war. And then Midland, New Mexico, this is a little bit of a tipping point. Um, you know, for both of them, I guess, maybe more so for New Mexico. As far as where they're at in the conference standings right now. But Midland needs to win this one to really kind of build that momentum, and New Mexico kind of needs this one to
You
right the ship
can't
a
lose
little.
three in a row, right? You got to stay in the mix
Got to stay in the mix. Got to stay in the mix, and they got all the talent in the world to do it, and it's at home. So this should also be a very good one.
on one of the most aesthetically pleasing courts in America. Beautiful. Wednesday, Indian Hills, the Warriors travel to Kankakee. Kankakee 14 and 5, a little bit of a renaissance for them, which is good. Indian Hills, they went on the road 2 weeks ago to Sauk Valley. Didn't get it done. I'm sure Coach Sash will have his Warriors ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, even as good as Sauk Valley is, I think that's one that he can point to and say, "Hey, here's what happens if we let up," right? And Indian Hills, even under Coach Polona, as good as they were, has had those moments, like at a Missouri West Plains last year, where a game that they expected to just run away with, jumped up and bit them. And I'm sure Coach Sash will point back to that game, especially for the players like Trevion LeBeau that were on that team and went through that experience.
When you're in Indian Hills or a Vincennes or a Salt Lake or CSI or Northwest Florida, you're everyone's Super Bowl. right? And everyone circles that game on the calendar before the season starts. So you get everyone's best shot. Two big games on Saturday. We have Triton, Southeastern, and then Tallahassee, Chipola. Quick thoughts on some Saturday weekend hoops. We don't have
Yeah,
any football. No football on
no
Saturday.
football.
This is a great time to dive into your local junior college basketball.
Yep, no football. Triton going to bring that stable of guards with them. Southeastern for
Firm.
me, yeah, Southeastern for me. I think the key for them could really come down to Raphael Gay in the post. Triton, is going to have to figure out a way to match up with him, and if he can really kind of control the paint and draw in that defense and allow those guards a little more freedom to work. This could really be a tough one for Triton, and of course, at Southeastern is always difficult. And then Tallahassee, Chipola, Tallahassee, first year head coach there, has some great games, has some games that they, haven't, put it all together, but they are dangerous. Donnie Tyndall's going to be ready though. They have kind of been chomping at the bit a little bit, I think, knowing that their non-conference schedule, wasn't maybe one of the better ones in the country. And so they really want to show people now that they are deserving of being a top 10 team. And this is a great opportunity for them to do that.
Absolutely. All right, that concludes the rundown. When we return, we'll have Coach Josh Sash from Indian Hills with us on the spotlight.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Everyone, welcome back to JUCO Jam. We are honored today to have the head coach at Indian Hills Community College, Coach Josh Sash. Coach Sash, thanks so much for joining us on JUCO Jam this afternoon.
Hey, appreciate you guys for having me on. I think it's great what you guys do for this JUCO Jam show, and then just in my past several years since I was in JUCO before, you guys have helped in my opinion grow the exposure for JUCO, and that's awesome. So appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. It's a labor of love. We love junior college basketball, and we love following the top programs in the country. And when I think of the bluest of blue blood programs, Indian Hills is one of the first that comes to mind. You guys have played a crazy schedule. Let's start there. You get the job. The schedule's probably already made or 80% of the way made. You may be playing the toughest schedule in the modern junior college basketball area. Talk a little bit about what you walked into.
He'd personally like to thank Hank Polona first off.
Yeah, let's blame Hank for sure for that one. I think when I took the job on May 9th and looked at the schedule, I think somewhere between 27 and 28 games were already on the schedule, and there was a few more pretty high level teams that are currently in the top 25 that there have been some conversations had of playing some of those games, and we did not continue to challenge ourselves with those teams. But no, I think as you look at the schedule that we've played, I think it's been one that's really challenged us, and I think that's something that here with where we are at, and now with the at-large bids in play, that's something that I think we have purposed to try to do to challenge ourselves every year to make sure that when those 8 at-large bids come up, if we're not fortunate enough to win our district game, we'll be in the conversation pretty strongly for one of those bids.
Yeah, and just to kind of follow that up for people that are watching this who may not be familiar, right? 14-4 overall, and I believe you are an incredible 8-3 against teams that have either been ranked or received votes at some point during the season. I mean, there's a lot of programs throughout the country who won't play 11 games all season against teams that would fall into that category. Is that something that you'll want to continue into your tenure at Indian Hills? Year 2 under Coach Stash, we're going to see a similar schedule like this next year?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it'd probably be similar, maybe not quite as aggressive, but it's just it's a testament to the administration around here, our athletic director Brett Monahan. I think across the board, with our other athletic programs here as well, we're looking to compete at the highest level of junior college, and if in order to do that, you got to go out and play people, and I don't think we get better playing JV teams and beating them by 50, 60 points, and I don't get excited about those games, and I don't think our guys get excited about those games. I think sometimes those games can be used to maybe inflate your stats a little bit, but if you want to position yourselves to be able to grow as a team throughout the year and be playing your best basketball at the end and be battle tested, I think you got to schedule similar to the way that we scheduled this year.
So you're
And
14.
not to jump in
Go
here,
ahead, Brandon.
but I think there's been some communication and a growing push even from the league that the schedule that Indian Hills has this year is maybe not the template by any means, because it is so aggressive, but more towards that side of things where teams like Indian Hills that go out and do what you guys are doing, really deserve that benefit when it comes to things like, at-large bids and rankings and all that sort of stuff. So, I think Indian Hills has always been a little bit ahead of the game on that, as being a team that does go out and travel and plays and whatever. So, yeah, I think what you guys have done this year, is kind of like standing up and saying, hey, like, look, this if you're going to be a top team, if you're going to be one of the big boys, like, this is what you have to do.
Yeah, and it forces the other top programs to try to do something similar with their schedule, right? Because they don't want to get left out. So it raises the entire level for the top tier of junior college basketball. So here we are, you're 14-4. We've talked about your great schedule, but what do you like most about this team? Because I think you're playing really, really good basketball right now. You had a big win Saturday night over in Burlington.
Yeah, I think the thing I like most about this team, we have a lot of guys that have really good character. They have big time work ethic. They love to get in the gym, and I just think we've from where we started and where we are right now, I think we've improved tremendously. And I think, with the character of the guys that we have, I think we'll continue to do so. I like from a basketball standpoint, just the different pieces that we have. I think we are able to play a lot of different ways. I think we have some pretty good depth. And we've overcome, I think, and been able to overcome maybe some injuries. I hope that we can continue to get ourselves healthy and be healthy here for the stretch. But just playing the gauntlet that we played, I think we've been battle tested quite a bit. We dropped one over at Sauk Valley about a week and a half ago, and that was the first time we had actually played on the road in a while, since I believe our loss had been Sins. And so it was good for us to get outside the Hellier Center and get out on the road this second half of the year. It's a little more balanced with our schedule of home games and road games, and I think it was a good kind of wake up call for us. AJ Sharp, nothing to take anything away from him over there at Sauk Valley. He does a great job with his program, and but they just outplayed us that night, and I think it was a wake up call for our guys of what whether we're in the Hellier Center and we have a jam-packed, facility full of Warrior Nation, or, we're on the road and there's 20 people in the stands, we have to bring the same type of effort and energy, and regardless. And I think it was a good wake-up call that kind of propelled us into, being able to win 2 road league games this last week on the road.
Now, you've had varied experience, right? You've been an assistant coach at Indian Hills. You had head coaching experience at Des Moines area, and you've coached at the NCAA Division I level, Missouri, Kansas City, North Dakota State. What do you enjoy most about coaching at the junior college level?
Man, I'll tell you what, the last 3 years in my time just at North Dakota State, we had very, very high character kids there, and kids that you felt like whether you were there or not, it didn't really matter who was there, they were going to be successful. And I think the thing that I've missed most about being in junior college that I'm embracing, again, being back here, is just the relationships, being able to help kids accomplish their goals, not only from a basketball standpoint, but just building those relationships with them, and helping them grow their habits that'll make them successful people in society, and further themselves in their future.
So from the first time you were at Indian Hills, you kind of think back to how things were then and to now. What have been the biggest changes on the recruiting landscape, if any? I'm sure you've had quite a varied experience and can really have a insightful answer from your time, both at the top of the junior college world to the NCAA Division I.
Yeah, I think over COVID, they changed the rules on the qualifying, the test scores, and I think a lot more kids are qualifying now, so that's taken away from some kids that would have previously gone junior college. The other piece is when I was here before, we took Kevin Zabo, transfer from San Diego State. We took Rion Holland, a transfer from Wichita State. Emmett Holt, a transfer from Indiana. We had dudes that were pretty high level guys, for whatever reason, came to junior college for a year, and then were able to catapult themselves into a different situation that was better for them. And you don't see as many of those kids now. Being a lot of those kids go Division I to Division I right away, and so those 2 pieces, I think, have changed the landscape of junior college basketball quite a bit. And then I think just from even last year to this year, last year you had a lot of third-year guys in junior college, guys that with the COVID year, and kind of the log jam trying to get to Division I, and for various reasons, I think you had a lot of older guys in junior college, and this year I think there's a lot of people that have gone through it with a lot more freshmen, and actually true sophomores. And so it's changed. It's always changing, and I think that's the best part about junior college coaches, that I think they've always been able to adapt. They've always been able to figure out how to put the pieces together of what their team looks like, and adjust, and I think junior college coaches are just kind of ahead of the game, and in that way, in the landscape of college basketball right now in general.
I admittedly don't watch a lot of NCAA Division I basketball because I'm so juiced up on the JUCO hoops. But I have long thought, and I would love your perspective. Most kids who graduate from high school then go on to an NCAA Division I school are just not ready to compete at that level. And truthfully, probably a lot of them are not ready to compete at the top end of junior college basketball, the Indian Hills, the South Plains, the Vincennes of the world. Do you ever think we'll see a transition to get more high school seniors, maybe kids right outside of the top 100, to spend 2 years at junior college and go Division I, as opposed to go Division I, sit on the bench, enter the transfer portal? Is there a world where that exists to get more kids to junior college to develop their game instead of going to 1 year at a NCAA school?
Yeah, I think prep school has kind of taken some of that away from junior college. It would be great, and I don't know what the answer is, but it would be great to somehow maybe, allow participation maybe in junior college as a freshman, and have it not count as a year of eligibility, because I just think, there's so many kids that, they are the best player on their high school team and the best player in their area, and they've gotten away with maybe just playing just scoring the basketball. And, there's not a lot of guys that can, score it at a high enough level that they just walk into Division I or junior college and they just immediately make that kind of impact. And so you got to learn all the other things. And, you got to be able to guard if you want to play in college basketball. You got to be able to guard. You got to be able to rebound. You got to be able to be a part of a winning team. And, and that's something that a lot of kids maybe struggle with. It takes some time to learn. And so, yeah, I think that's something that, if we could figure that out, if you guys could figure that out, maybe Brandon can pull some strings on that and get that to
Hold on,
happen.
I'm
I
taking
think that'd be
notes.
a huge benefit.
All right, let's propose this. You go to junior college, 2 years, you get an associate's degree. It only counts as one. How about that? You have 3 years.
I'm in. I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before, Josh. Like what realistically, if you go to a post grad year, and do nothing academically, and unfortunately, there are so many of these post grads that are basically just fly by night, whatever operations. Like, why would it not be so much more beneficial to the product of basketball as a whole, but then the kids to spend a freshman year at a junior college, learning to be a college student, right? Learning to be a college basketball player, all those things that you learn as far as life goes, and then move on to the NCAA without it hurting you eligibility wise. I mean, the post grad stuff would end overnight. And I think, okay, all right, I'm scheduling a meeting.
No, I mean, I think you're right on. And for us here at Indian Hills, just with our academic structure here, we're on a trimester schedule. So, most of our guys are in at least 12 hours. You get, 12 hours in the fall, 12 in the winter, and 12 in the spring. You're talking 36 hours of college, level credit. And even some of these guys that maybe have to take a developmental class or so, early on, they're still getting themselves academically to where they would need to be to continue to progress towards a 4-year degree. And so, I think some of that stuff, and like you said, there's so many prep schools, and some of it's a waste of time for some of these kids. The thing that I tell a kid when they're considering us and they're considering prep school is, I have 3 assistant coaches that don't do anything else but basketball. And, they can get in the gym with you. We have access to our gym, 24/7. You have a swipe card. You can walk, to the building, you swipe, you get in, you walk up to the locker room, you swipe, you get in. And, you walk on the floor, you don't even have to turn the lights on. The lights turn on for you. You got a shooting gun. You got, I got 3 full-time assistants that, are going to work you out. And how can you, over the course of the next, 12 months get better? I think that's something that
And the weight room too,
coaches,
right?
yeah, no question, no question. Coaches that have been here prior to me and have been able to do, and that's something that I think myself and my staff have continued to kind of make a focus for our program and the culture.
And realistically, one of the biggest complaints about this portal thing, at least for objective minds viewing it, is what it does to a kid's transferable credits, their ability to get a real degree as opposed to just kind of whatever they're shoved into. I mean, if they were able to come into their true freshman year, at an NCAA institution with, a pocket full of credits to kind of allow them to work their way into things, I mean, your degree completion rate would go through the roof as well. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
junior
I
college
think
really
just
can be the thing that launches a lot of not
yeah.
only the basketball careers, but the academic careers too.
Yeah. And at the Division I level, I mean, it's such a structured day for these kids, where uh, not only are we talking about the academic piece, but you're talking about, the strength and conditioning piece. You're talking about, individual workouts. You're talking about, now they have, different NIL, maybe appearance type things, some community service, film with maybe your individual coach, positionally. There's just so many things that the structure of the day there on top of them academically in that first year, it's a lot. And just helping them be able to build those habits to kind of prepare them for what's coming down the line, I think would be something that would be very beneficial to help improve the success rate.
Look at us improving lives over here. We're going to get something together on this. I can feel it. Brandon's the man to make this happen. We'll call it like
Oh boy.
the SASH plan. All right, Coach, I'm going to bring you back to this year's team, the Trevian LeBeau era. What do you need to see from this team to take this group to Hutchinson, Kansas, and bring back a national title to Tropical Ottumwa?
I mean, if everyone on my team would just try to be like Trevi, we'd be in pretty good shape. I mean, that dude's he's a monster, you know, to be able to get the job here and walk in and be able to keep a guy like that on the roster. That was a great starting point for us. And, you know, I thought early on in this season, he's carried us just, you know, he had multiple double doubles. And, you know, I saw some of the tweets that Brandon had just about him and just the consistency of that. And, you know, he's the best, man. You know, like I said, he gets 30-9 the other night at Marshalltown. And, you know, the next 2 days of practice, there's some, maybe some guys in junior college that would lack some maturity to come and try to be the best player at practice those next 2 days. And he's out there, you know, absolutely trying to be the best, you know, player, and then goes out and proves it again, you know, with I think 14 and 17 the other night against Southeastern. And he's as consistent as they come. He's, you know, brings an energy and an effort and just an attitude to him to rebound the ball every single time out. And just love that dude. But, you know, really to answer your question, I think, you know, we have to continue to get better. You know, with some of the injuries we've had, we've kind of been different guys in and out of the lineup a little bit. You know, I think we've been battle tested. I think now it's been good for us to get tested on the road here this second half, but just continuing to get better, maybe add some things to, you know, how we play defensively. We've played a lot of man-to-man, but maybe adding some zones, some press, some different things that just you can bring out in different games that I felt like we tried to add earlier on, and when we did, we lost some other things. And so we just kind of got back to, you know, the foundation of, you know, what we tried to be about. And, you know, I think, you know, we've made a lot of strides, but if we can continue to get better, I like where, you know, where we'll be in March.
Now, Coach, I get to end the conversation with the most important question out of all of them every week, and this is a real honor for me. So I need you to picture, if you will, you come off the big win in Burlington, and you guys are driving, and you say, you know what, special treat tonight, boys. That was a big one. So you pull into the parking lot, the neon green and red glow of the Chili's sign casts itself across the parking lot. And you go in. What are you having at Chili's?
Oof. Do they? It's been a while since I've been to Chili's. Do they still have like the Southwest egg rolls?
Oh yeah,
Probably
better
having some
believe it.
Southwest egg rolls.
mm-hmm.
I would love to get a ribeye steak. Honestly, I'm kind of a, you know, being at Division I, you get spoiled a little bit. But if the budget can't handle that, maybe just some wings. You know, maybe wings or a burger. I'm a pretty basic guy, so you know, anything like that. I know the guys are getting wings. The guys love wings, so anytime they can get wings, they're getting wings.
You know that, Nick. I think that's the first time anybody's come in here and tried to Gucci it up and is getting a ribeye. Man, of course,
It just shows that he was recently in Division I.
And I follow, you know, Brandon on Twitter, and he's got these tomahawk, you know, steaks, and like, I mean, like he needs to have his own cooking show on the side.
Josh is asking, what's the per diem here? $100? Is that what it is? No, Coach. You can't get the lemonade.
Yep, no lemonade, just waters.
No lemonade. Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on. Good luck the rest of the season. And when we come back, we will jump into the grind.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We're going to get into the grind. We're going to talk about a current junior college player having a lot of success. Brandon, let's talk about Owen Aquino from Eastern Florida, 6'8", 220-pound forward from Madrid, currently averaging 15 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 40% from three. And against Daytona on Saturday, 1 rebound short of a triple-double. Talk a little bit about Owen and who he is as a player and a little bit of what his recruiting looks like.
Yeah, elite kid, first off, who's all of 6'8", has a ridiculous wingspan to go with it, and is just doing everything. I wouldn't say that he's under the radar, but he's not as much on the radar as maybe he would have been. Wasn't able to be here this summer because he was playing for the Spanish national team, who's pretty good. So, that was a huge honor for him, something he absolutely had to do. And so, his recruitment's maybe a little bit delayed, coming into conference play here, but I think that's changing very, very rapidly. He is, let's be honest, if Eastern Florida keeps winning and it, is able to come out as one of the best teams in their conference and thus one of the best 7 or 8 teams in the country, Owen Aquino's got a real shot to fight for a National Player of the Year votes. So
The Spanish Joker, right?
he is the Spanish Joker for sure. But again, great kid. Recruiting is really going to start popping off here soon. Super, super diverse, talented. Everything that he does translates to the next level. So one that I'm really excited to watch going forward here and then follow for the rest of his career.
And then as we transition to the show, talking about a former junior college player having a lot of success at the NCAA Division I level, Kason Pryor, currently at the University of South Florida, was at Northwest Florida State with Coach DeMayo last year. 6'10", 210-pound junior out of Chicago, currently averaging 11-7. And in the last 2 games, really picked it up. 50 points in the last 2, 29 versus Rice, 21 at Memphis. So you're really seeing, second half of the season really, really exploding with his game.
Yeah, I mean, his averages are really
kind of deceiving, right?
Yeah. As far as how he's playing right now, they get the big win against Memphis. He hit the game-winning free throw, I believe in that, drove to the rim and got fouled. He's showing that he has NBA talent. I chatted with a couple GMs from the NBA while watching the game. Just, they were asking questions about him and his background and things like that. Was part of that very good Northwest Florida team. And, just somebody who's really now starting to figure it out. He's a little bit of a wild card at times. Anybody watches him play, he is eccentric. And, but when you're 6'10" and 210 pounds and you can play like a 3, go ahead and be eccentric. Go nuts.
There's a little bit of Birdman in him, right?
Little bit. There is a little bit. He does love his tattoos as well. And he's just got so much energy on the floor, and he's definitely got that NBA mindset of like, I'm the best player on the floor. Give me the ball and I'm going to go win us the game. And,
he's a good passer too, right? I mean,
he's a great passer.
Yeah, I think that's one of his best skills.
And a lot of people look at maybe somebody that, has some of those eccentricities or has that attitude of just like, I'm going to go do this, and think that that's not being a team player. That's not true at all. The kid just wants to win. And realistically, those are the kinds of attitudes that move on to the NBA, because to be one of the best 400 players in the world, you better have some stuff about you.
Yeah, you can't be questioning if I'm good enough, right? You have to believe it. So he's had a great season, and he's really peaking at the right time. So wish him luck here in the second half. When we come back, stay with us. We're going to have our 6th man, where we talk about our closing thoughts in this week in junior college basketball.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to JUCO Jam. We're going to go to the six-man segment where we talk about our closing thoughts. I just wanted to give some love to Kankakee, currently 14-5. They've won 6 games in a row after a December 9th loss to Southeastern Iowa, 80-77 in triple overtime. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, Kankakee was one of the blue blood programs in junior college basketball. They were kind of the best of the best, and they've kind of fallen off the map a little bit, but it's great to see, what head coach Michael Brown has done there in Kankakee, kind of revitalizing the program, certainly on an uptrend. And yes, they've won 6 in a row, but their last 2 games, they beat Highland and they beat Triton, 2 teams that have been ranked or receiving votes at some point in the year. So it's great to see Kankakee back and relevant. Junior college basketball is better when Kankakee is in the mix. And Brandon, I know you have a great story about Florida State College, Jacksonville, and it's a NJCAA Division II program with one of the best guards in the country.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about not so much basketball, more about what makes junior college great. Got to see a really heartwarming story for one of the players. Diego Dionisio was a walk-on at Florida State College, Jacksonville, and his 91-year-old grandfather, who's a retired Navy veteran, came onto the court to present the game ball and had a little extra surprise there for his grandson Diego, who's a 4.0 student. He's a local kid. He's a phenomenal kid and player. And grandfather got to announce to him on the court there that he was being put on a full athletic scholarship for the rest of the season. And so, we all love seeing those stories, but this one's extra special where you get to see, his veteran grandfather come onto the court and be the one to present it to him. So, just another awesome story coming out of junior college.
Junior college basketball is what it's all about. It's the best sport in the world. If you're not watching it, you should. Thanks for another great episode, Brandon. Thanks for all you do of advocating for all the players in junior college basketball. And hope you enjoy a great week of hoops, and we'll see you next week.